Hey guys, welcome to a brand new episode of Harry Potter Wizards Unite, where every week we discuss any speculation about the upcoming game. Any updates that come out, we'll be publishing about that as well. So if you're interested in that in the future, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Today though, we're talking about magical artifacts. Bye. So I asked a lot of you guys, give me any magical artifact, list them in the community tab. Tell me every single one that you know of, because I knew this would probably be the best way to get this. So first of all, I want to shout out these people who helped create this video. So big shout out to Kimberly Moreno, Mr. XY, Buddy Dana Panic, Treadstone Coralie Durard, Ashesh Dubé, Riva Vader, Piano Bandit, Tobias Mogginson, Commander Shark, Aidan Mark, Mad Crow, Stephanie Alverston, Braden Isbell, Writing Wizard, Three of Hearts, Casey Panda, and Bixley. Thank you. So, you gave me a list of about over 70 different artifacts. So what we're going to be doing is going through them today. Cut! Today. Right. So what we're going to be doing is going through them today and discussing how they might play a role in the game. Now there's some interesting things to talk about because you've got such a wide range of things that do different things. So obviously you've got things like port keys, which, well, who knows, they could use to transport to certain locations. You've got butterbeer, which could be used to revive health, but we'll be going into them and discussing my thoughts on how they'll play a part in the game. So what do we know already? Already from the Harry Potter Wizards Unite #1 trailer, we saw a golden snitch which seemed to be flying around without a cause in the Muggle world, which presents a threat to the Statute of Secrecy. So this snitch potentially could be one of the artifacts that we're going to be seeing. Snitches are a good choice for an artifact in terms of if they're going to be like, we all get to go to try and capture them, because there's an unlimited amount of them. It's not that there's just one in the world. And that's where, you know, things like the Sword of Godric Gryffindor present a problem. Also, we know from the second trailer that there are other artifacts. So it stopped on a different exposure threat level on this, but we see Trace number 74, a riderless Nimbus 2000. Now, brooms also are in abundance, Nimbus 2000 are in abundance, therefore again it's a good item to have as something that we can all potentially use a spell to capture. So you saw the little diagram where you can draw it on there. If we go back to that, if you missed it, you can see it has that gesture on it. Just after this, it presents the picture of it, and then we have a gesture going like this, which might be a spell that we need to use to capture it. So a Nimbus 2000 is a good object artifact to choose to have in the game of something that we capture. Obviously, I think there's the beast side of things, but it'd be really interesting if it wasn't just confined to, you know, fighting beasts or capturing different fantastic beasts. It's also had some artifacts, and I want to see them doing different things. So let's talk about some of these artifacts that you came up with. Okay, so on this page we have everything that is an artifact item, thing that there can be multiple of, and below we have solo artifacts. All of them are solo artifacts, things that cannot have any duplicates, like the resurrection stone. There is no more resurrection stones. There is no more Makusa clocks. There's only one. Actually, there is more Makusa clocks because I want to buy one so bad. I saw one in my background. Look how cool this would be in my background. On the Mina Lima page, they have a magical exposure clock. £99. Anybody want to buy that for me? Anyone? No? Yeah, I didn't think so. Or you can get the premium one for £250. Except there's no visible difference between the premium and the standard. Maybe when you look at it. Premium. No, there's no noticeable difference. Premium, standard. Anyway, the only way I could justify buying this is if I bought it and did a video on it and put out a video on an unboxing. But it'd have to earn like 100k views for it to have paid for itself. And that's before tax. So I don't know. Anyway, let's get to what we really want to talk about, which is magical artifacts. So solo artifacts, they have to be made, if they're going to be put into the game, they have to be made solo. I can't get an Elder Wand if you can get an Elder Wand too. But if they are, they are in a separate side of the game that is like, if I was playing on the PlayStation a Harry Potter game and I got Elder Wand, it wouldn't mean that I'd have to battle against them because there's no PvP. So that's the only way I think you can have these in everybody's game, is if they don't interfere or impact on somebody else's game, or they are given as buffs. So they're rare artifacts that you've seen and acquired the scene and gained something from it. I don't know. But we have Grindelwald's Skull Hookah, so that's the thing that he has in Fantastic Beasts Crimes of Grindelwald, I believe. So it's the thing that can predict, shows you visions of the future. What that could be used for, I'm not sure. I don't think you can really use that for much. No. Resurrection Stone, pretty obvious. Using that might give you the ability to resurrect if you lose life or, get knocked out in a PvP. But again, it should only be like a buff. Maybe it gives you 1 more heart. Say if you had like 5 hearts life, you now get 6 in battling. Riddle's Diary, that could have something in it. So these could really just be like buffs, like you see in, I'm trying to think of a game that just gives random buffs. Hogwarts Mystery. I suppose you could say in Hogwarts Mystery, like every time you get a certain clothing item, it increases your stat, your empathy stat, or your bravery stat. I think that's courage. I don't know. Anyway, one of those stats. So something like that, you gain knowledge from it. And knowledge, that's the other one. Newt's Suitcase, again, should be solo. Shouldn't be like flying around and got to find it. I think it's going to have something maybe that increases storage. Maybe you don't have Newt's Suitcase, but you can... I'd really like to see storage. Like in Pokemon Go, you get more bag space, which is insane because like it's the same bag. So this, you probably got like your trainer with 10 bags on, realistically speaking. But with New Suitcase or a magical suitcase, you can put all your items in there and have like unlimited storage space. Next, the Makusa clock is pretty obvious. That should be used like that to indicate the threat exposure level. Now, whether that's going to be something that, is given, we saw it stop on the 2nd or 3rd level, low level threat, I think, for the Nimbus 2000 video. So I think it should probably be like an indicator of how severe a threat it is, and we'll talk about that in relation to the multiple artifacts in a minute. Dumbledore's clock, I don't know if that should be really, it wouldn't really have much impact in the game, but again, this might buff a stat. Sword of Gryffindor might boost attack stats, something like that. Weasley family clock, can't really see that coming into place, unless like Harry and Hermione and Ron, if those are the teams, they each have separate things that you're looking for them, like the Weasley family clock for Ron, Harry Potter's glasses for him, Hermione's attitude. Marauder's map. Marauder's map should be used if we actually get to go to Hogwarts in the game. Don't know how they'd play that. Maybe they do have like a separate bit where you can, in single player, like go to Hogwarts, go to the castle, go to Hogwarts, but I don't think they're going to put that in the game. I think they're going to distance themselves from the whole Hogwarts part and just keep it outside in the Wizarding World. Harry's glasses, as they talk about into relation to him, might work that way. Ravenclaw's diadem. So, Ravenclaw's diadem, Hufflepuff's cup, Slytherin locket, Godric, who am I missing? Slytherin's locket, Hufflepuff's cup, Godric, Sword of Godric, Gryffindor. They could all be, if there are teams, like you do actually get to pick your house. You may then, they are the individual things that you're trying to acquire for your individual buff of your house. Mirror of Erised. Now, the Mirror of Erised, spelled backwards in terms of the inscription on top of it. It's like something about, obviously backwards it's desire, but it will show what your heart's desire, something like that. So, can't really see that being used in the game. I can't see anything like It doesn't really have the kind of, I don't think you can transfer it into the game. The Triwizard Cup, again, very much kind of touching on Hogwarts, might be used just as an individual buff. Weasley's Flying Car, you might get specific things too, each of them that boost your, you know, travel area. So maybe if you have like a radius around you that you can find items, it might increase, so you increase your travel ability, potentially with that. Elder Wand obviously will just destroy everybody, except Dumbledore. So Elder Wand could be again one of those stats, but shouldn't be like an elite thing that just you just do double damage. Philosopher's Stone again could be used, but yeah, probably like something along the lines of life. Invisibility Cloak. This could be, Invisibility Cloak could definitely be used some stealthy way, so you might need some stealthy advantage taking down, I don't know, whatever, like a raid or something, or the equivalent, or taking down somebody else's if it's another house or another team's, I don't know, something you might be able to, with the Invisibility Cloak, bypass one of the, whatever they've got inside the gym to be able to take it down a little bit easier. So that might be how Invisibility Cloak works. Like obviously when we talked about Sorting Hat, might see that at the start if we're separated into teams, and Goblet of Fire, can't really see that coming into play. So solo artifacts really should be something that just gives a general buff, not something that, you know, you're looking for to, like, it's not going to be your Dragon Knight, your Tyranitar, like really killer stats. That's something that you can use in battle, because everybody having an Elder Wand and being able to use that in PvP, just think that would be a little bit off kind of program of what you'd expect within the game, because there should be one. We want to still stick to canon, really. Then we come into what is a more exciting part, is the multiple artifacts. So golden snitches and brooms we've already seen, and they are traces. We know that the basis of the game is that we're trying to protect the wizard, the statute of secrecy, so prevent muggles from, you know, realizing that the wizarding world exists. And this part of the game is interesting because, like, if we're gonna have, it's gonna be interesting how these play a part. Are we going to, like we see in the first trailer, Omobulus capture these to get, you know, buff our abilities, to actually use them in some form of way? Because some of these, I think they could be used like the Nimbus and the Golden Snitch running around or flying around, but some of these, you know, could actually give special abilities within the game, which could be quite cool. So some of them might be really rare. So like things like the Dark Detector, which can detect whether somebody is lying. I can't see you being able to use it too much, but you might be able to use it in, I don't know, part. We don't know how, what the format of the game is. Being able to, you know, detect whether somebody's telling the truth might give you the right answer. If it's like, do you trust them or do you not? You could use a Dark Detector to pass that and go the right way rather than the wrong way and end up, you know, losing life or something like that. We've got a Bazoa, which is stony mask from the stomach of a goat. Yep. You could actually, well, I really want to see this, and I didn't put too much detail. I took some of these out, is that there are a lot of potions ingredients that could also class as multiple items, that I would love to see these being used as, if you played Oblivion, you go around and you pick up items and potions, and then you go back to your cauldron or your little potion space, and you actually form potions from the ingredients that you've acquired, and those then have different abilities. So you can use them to gain buffs, to carry more items, increase your attack, increase your defense temporarily, increase your healing ability. So I would love to see potions implemented in that way, and I feel if they don't, you're really just missing out on something that is a key aspect of the game. People go to potions class because potions allow you to do things that are insane, like, you know, Polyjuice potion. So they need to be a really important part, and I just want to say in terms of potions, I don't want to see them implemented in a way like they are, you know, running around. I want to see them as things you can gather. So you can gather items, and you also maybe can find rare potions in certain places, maybe for completing certain missions. So potions should be implemented in that way. Then we move on to Felix Felicis. So again, that should also be used in that way. When we have potions of ours as a put, cauldrons could be something that you might have to find. I'd really like to see that, you know, if you were looking for cauldrons to use to develop potions, that you see different types. So you might see a pewter cauldron being like the basic cauldron that can do certain spells, but you might need more complex, you know, a golden cauldron. That's kind of a good word, golden cauldron. You might need to see that to be able to use that to create some of the more advanced potions. I'd love to see that implemented that way. And you could also see, and you know, Harry Potter Wizards Unite is going to have to be a business as well as a game, because to keep paying for the people who develop in it, you do need in-app purchases. And those things like cauldrons could be like the eggs incubators of Pokemon Go for Wizards Unite, which don't directly, you know, it's not pay to play. They just, because you got to walk them, you could use them exactly the same way. Make a potion, put it in, use one of your cauldrons, make your potion, and then just leave it there, and you've got to walk 5k before you get it. I'd be happy with seeing that is the way they implemented it. A spellbook flying around. Yeah, spellbook, this could be acquired to learn different spells. We don't know how, we know that it looks like there's going to be gestures for different spells, as we saw in the second trailer. Now, those spells that we learn, how do we acquire them? Do we acquire them through leveling up? Do we acquire them through finding them? Do we acquire them through some other system? Do we have to buy them? We don't know yet, but I'd like to see it implemented in a way that there is a little element of you've got to find rarer, more powerful spells. Earmuffs. Yeah, you're going to need them if you're facing a Mandrake. So I'd like to see that this is going way too complex, I think, for the game of what we will actually see, but it would exceed my expectations if, you know, you were face to face with a Mandrake and you had earmuffs to equip, and if you didn't equip them, you couldn't capture it. That would be cool. If you see a Kappa, not a Kappa, what's the one in the thing with a bowl on its head? No, it is a Kappa. It is a Kappa, isn't it? The horse is not a Kappa. I think it's the Kappa, the one in Fantastic Beasts: Crimes of Grindelwald. It has a cauldron on its head, a little cup, and it is super powerful whilst it has loads of water in it. But if you trick it to tip its head over it, pour the water out and loses all its power, and then pow, that's when you capture it. What I'd like to see is things like that being implemented into the game of, if you're going to be catching these magical beasts, that you're only able to capture things in certain ways. Just like, you know, you're only able to evolve an Eevee into an Umbreon if you walk it 10k. Little special unique things to some of the beasts or things that you might face to be able to capture them. Paintings definitely could be something like the broom is just wafting around. They've come from Hogwarts or other schools, flying around and talking to people. So I could see that as something that falls in the realms of, like, we could see trying to break the statue of secrecy. Butterbeer should be used as like a buff, like a potion, something that increases health or happiness, something like that. Or maybe there's a friend aspect, so you can send a butterbeer to a friend and they're like, oh, that's increased my friend level. That'd be pretty cool. Books. So books of all types. Books might be a way of learning things. So if you're going to have like little mysteries, little puzzles in books, that would be cool. Some way of learning the spells via actually having to use your head. So one of my worries with the gesture system is a little bit too simple. It's not going to require a lot of strategy, and I would like to see some difficulty in some of these, you know, learning of spells and things. Then we come to like things like puking pastels, Bertie Bott's every flavour beans. Would love to see things like this, the food and the prank items. I would love to see them implemented in the game. Again, potentially that we could be something that you send to friends. I really want to see chocolate frog cards. I really want to see chocolate frog cards being implemented. It's just little collectibles. They don't do anything, just collectibles. That would be cool. Poisons. So again, you can develop potions like that give you positive buffs, but also potentially potions that you could use in battle to poison or have status effects or impacts on your enemy. Pensive. So pensive could allow you to see things, you know, memories. Maybe you could learn from those memories. Potentially that might be a part of the storyline. That'd be cool. Port keys, as I mentioned earlier, port keys would be great to be like something that you could use to have a friend come through and just spend some time in your world and be able to access things within a short range of it, just like in our world, Walking Dead. That would be cool. Gaunts. What are gaunts? I don't even know what gaunts are. Gaunts. Harry Potter. Harry Potter. Marvola gaunt. The gaunts are a type of person. People. You're calling them an artifact. So who put so when you put like, is it Dumbledore or somebody? Put somebody as an artifact. No, you put Nicholas Flamel. He's an artifact. Yeah, he would have classed. Definitely. He's that old. Ring. So ring again would be nice, cool as like a wearable item. A buff that would give you would be cool. We got galleon sickles and nuts. So we're probably going to see some form of currency. You do see it in most games. Hogwarts Mystery has coins. Pokemon Go has coins. So these are the things that you can use to buy items. That would be cool to get. And some hopefully you can find randomly in the wild. Remember all. Yeah, that could be implemented in the game too, but I think I'd see it more in like a storyline way. Eggs. So we do have eggs within the Wizarding World that could hatch things like acromantulas and dragons. I would like to see that being a huge rarity. Like finding a dragon egg is like 1 in a million. So rare, because I'd love to have like exclusive things that are so exclusive, like so rare that only a few people in the world will have it. Because you don't really have that with Pokemon Go. You've got things that everybody can pretty much acquire, and then you've got these events like community days where the ones that you don't have become a lot more, like Milotic from, I think Milotic is it, and then Feebas. So Feebas, there was a whole event around it, and it's really hard to find one in the wild, but not with that. So I hope they have something that's just really rare that people in the world can just be like, I am the only one with a freaking dragon. Yeah. That would be cool. Let's face it. Two-way mirror. Okay, yeah, that could be implemented in. Again, Spectra Specs definitely could be used for something. So that again could give a random buff, or it might be something that you need to get through a certain part. Vanishing Cabinet. Good to hide stuff in. Then we've got things like a Quaffle, Bludger, Golden Snitch, Brooms, definitely portraits, we've got portraits again, wands. These are things that could be flying around, you know, and something is controlling it, the calamity. Horcrux. Horcruxes, obviously we know what the Horcruxes are in Harry Potter. Horcrux doesn't mean that there's not going to be other forms of Horcruxes. I know in the history of Wizarding World, it can't be that Tom Riddle was the only one who created them. So there's probably other Horcruxes, so they could pull that in. But again, I think they'd be like, don't pull too many in then on that side of things, because they're not going to be as common as brooms, are they? Enchanted coins, howlers. Howlers would be great if you actually like heard from people, they sent you a howler, and like it was like literally shouting on your phone, and you got to turn the volume down, or it like forces your phone to turn the volume up really loud. That would be cool. Wizard's chess. It'd be nice to just have a little side game of Wizard's chess. I'm not a great chess player. I think I'm alright. I know the basics of it, but if you're a killer at chess, like it'd be cool to play for coins or something, though, wouldn't it? Timeturner. Timeturner could be implemented in the ability to like, obviously turn back time and redo things. But I think it could get messy. You can't implement it too much. No, I think it's probably safe to stay away from time, because whenever you put time into anything, like time in terms of films and books and TV series, it does become very complicated, because you can't start going in what direction does time move forward, or does it move backwards, or is it not like that? I don't know, so it gets complicated. Noise-biting teacups. Could be things like you could send pranks to your friends and they open them as gifts, and then bam, a prank, and it steals something off them, or takes some of their coins, or just does something to them negative. That would be funny. That would be really cool to have, just because people would be opening gifts like, oh, I got a gift from not actually, we don't want it being that real, like biting people's noses. Pensive, we said a pensive, so sneaker scope, faux glass, and deluminator. Deluminator for turning off lights. That would be helpful. Light switches are so far away. Yeah, we could see that being used in some way. You might need to use the deluminator to be able to face certain things, find certain things. Maybe you could use it to, you know, actually in a single player storyline. Who knows? I think lots of these things could be used in very clever ways, and it must be quite a complex thing for them to design and choose which ones to implement into Wizards Unite. But I'm hoping some of the ideas that I talked about there will be in it potentially. What I'd like to hear from you guys is, what are your thoughts on it? Is there any there that you think, actually, no, that shouldn't be in the game? Actually, that could be implemented in this way. Any cool ideas from it? If I get a lot of response from you guys, if there's a lot of feedback in terms of other ideas, I might do a video on like concepts for, you know, the player base, the fan base, of what do people predict will happen, or what really want. Because last time I did that with Hogwarts Mystery, there were some really good ideas, and from that video, if I look back on it now, there are things that have actually been implemented from that. Not saying that Jam City have watched that, but you guys have some good ideas, and it's interesting to speculate about. But as for the video, that's all for this one, and hopefully you have enjoyed it. If you have, please remember to hit the like button, really helps out the channel, and hit subscribe if you haven't already, if you want to keep up to date with future content. That's all from me. See you guys soon.